2, 1.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Friday podcast for ProLine. Jim Spice is here. I'm Dave Token. We've got a little Thursday night action to talk about. And we're going to preview Dodgers-Astros Game 3. We'll also preview the Sunday night football game between the Steelers and Lions. And we'll have a free play for you as well here on the podcast today. Let's start it off telling you what we have at the site. I've got my early college games still up, my Saturday trifecta, my marquee matchup, a Friday night football play, and I've added my college football game of the week. All those plays are available right now at jimspice.com. Last weekend, hit the big play on Arizona State, which was the upset special. Hit the early college play, which was Fresno State. They were also a double-digit dog at the time. Ended up getting about a touchdown. Didn't need it. They won outright. And this week we've got more big plays up. And I hit both games of the week last week as well. I didn't have one in college, actually. I had Hamilton in the CFL and the Bears in the NFL. So the big plays are winning. Check them out right now, especially that college football game of the week. Jim, you've got several big college and NFL plays as well, including a personal best. And we've got to let everybody know, 11-1 right now, your Major League Baseball playoff run.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to tonight's baseball game. The day off yesterday, and it's going to be a classic matchup. We got a good World Series going on here. There's strengths and weaknesses on both sides, and I'm really geared up for it. As far as the big college games, I have quite a few big college games up this weekend, and I'm really excited about the college card. It's that time of year when you really zero in on these teams. You know who they are, and you know how to take advantage of it. And then, of course, the NFL. Some of these NFL games are a little sketchy, like last night's. That's our fourth shutout we've seen in the last 2 weeks. And it's so unusual to ever get a shutout in the NFL. But now we've had 4 in 2 weeks. But that my totals in the NFL sides have been good. You just have to look at it a little differently because there are so many teams out there that really just can't play. But you got to watch the line and see if the odds makers are giving you a little too much that you can't overcome it.
So last night the Ravens absolutely blew out the Dolphins, but in the process they suffered a knockout as Joe Flacco was knocked out by a pretty vicious hit. We're going to talk about the adjustments that had to get made. You would assume, look, we don't know for sure, but I think it's a pretty good assumption that Joe Flacco won't be in action next week. That was a concussion, and I would say it's at least likely that he doesn't play the next game. So how many points? There's always a difference. You know, when an Aaron Rodgers goes down and gets replaced by what amounts to a rookie, it's one of the great quarterbacks in the league. You're talking about a 10 or 11-point adjustment. On the other hand, when Jay Cutler goes out, there's barely any adjustment at all. Maybe a point to Matt Moore. What's the adjustment for Ryan Mallett stepping in for Joe Flacco?
Well, you know, Dave, I'm not going to go too far with that because, quite honestly, Flacco has not played well. And for the last 3 or 4 years, since his Super Bowl year, where he was amazing in that Super Bowl run where he had 11 TDs and no interceptions during that period of the playoffs, he really has slipped quite a bit. Now, I mean, he's always been a great long ball thrower, but that particular team doesn't have that many people that he can, first of all, get the protection to throw a long ball because you need protection time. That offensive line play has been shaky at times. Their defensive strength. But, you know, a drop down to Mallett, I don't see it as a big move, maybe between 1 and 2 points at the most for me.
I go a little higher, not because of Flacco, but because of Mallett. I don't think the guy could play in the NFL. Even last night, I mean, he did nothing, basically, once he came in. And I know the game was salted away, but still wasn't very accurate. I think I've got to make it 3 to 4 points. Flacco's veteran leadership out there, if nothing else. I agree with everything you said. I don't think he's by any means an upper echelon quarterback anymore. He can't move, and he's never been great on the intermediate passes. Yeah, maybe a little less. I guess I'd say 3. So I guess between the two of us, between 1 and 3, we'll call it 2 points. So factor that into your line when you're power rating the Ravens next week, assuming, of course, that Flacco is out. Let's go to the Dodgers and Astros. Game 3, and we'll give you the background of the 2 pitchers. I'll tell you what, Yu Darvish, he's looked great in the postseason. One thing to keep in mind, however, he was facing, in the National League, teams that weren't all that familiar with him. Here he's facing a team that is familiar with him because he spent the previous balance of his career with Texas. They played Houston all the time. But, boy, I'm telling you what, he's got great numbers in these 2 postseason starts, Jim.
Well, he does. And, 11 innings pitched, 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 14 strikeouts. And both of those runs that he gave up were on solo homers. McCullers also has been very strong. He pitched against the Red Sox and the Yankees, 13 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 5 walks, 13 strikeouts, 1 homer. This is really evenly matched. Now, the one thing that I want to point out here is that Houston, in these playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think they've lost a home game. And, this offensive lineup that Houston has is potent. I mean, they led the league in scoring, and they got the leading hitter on their team, and that's multiple times he's done that. I'm talking about Altuve. And it comes down to the one thing about these 2 teams that separates them, in my opinion, other than that, what I already mentioned, are the bullpens. And the bullpen for Houston, to me, is just, Giles has just been horrible. But I was really surprised the other night as to how well Houston got to the bullpen of the Dodgers. And that was surprising to me because the Dodgers had not given up a run in 23 or so innings in the playoffs out of their bullpen. But the other night, Houston just hammered them. And now they're on the road in Houston, where Houston plays very tough. And so I don't know if that pattern is going to follow or not, Dave. But that was really a slip in the slide for the Dodger bullpen the other night.
Yeah, it was. And it might not have happened had Roberts going a little longer with Rich Hill, but, that's water under the bridge now. One thing to remember on bullpens is they can get streaky. And so that has to be a little concern for the Dodgers. I think the key to this game is, will the Dodgers be patient against Lance McCullers? Now, even in this good postseason run that he's had, you mentioned it, 5 walks in 13 innings. I think the Dodgers have to force him to use the fastball. He's got a great curveball, and like most great curveballs, it looks like a strike and ends up a ball, and guys end up swinging at it. Got to lay off that pitch and hope he gets behind in count and maybe issues some walks. That's how you can put together a big inning. Darvish, on the other hand, if he throws like he's been throwing in these prior 2 playoff games, even in a ballpark where they've scored a ton of runs and are very tough to beat, he's going to have trouble getting runs. So it's a good matchup, and I can't wait for the game. I know you'll probably be involved in it. I'm not. I'm going to be strictly a fan, but this has a chance to be a great World Series.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's a 5-game series now, potentially. And these 2 teams they're both really excellent ball clubs. And this is classic. And where we're seeing some marginal play in the NFL this year, we're seeing some really great play in baseball. So it's exciting.
All right, Sunday night, we've got an NFL matchup for the Steelers and Lions. And a couple of notes from the game. Pittsburgh, this is not something new. It's not a revelation. But they have frequently had their problems as road favorites out of division. especially coming off big division games, and they're off one against the Bengals. But before you run to that trend, where we talk about this a lot, cluster injuries, the Lions have big-time cluster injuries on the offensive line. 4 of the original 5 starters are on the IR. The 5th one is now hurt as well. And Stafford his record against winning teams is pretty bad. Now, one thing to keep in mind, though, Lions have had time to prep for this game. They were off last week. So even with a second unit offensive line, at least they've had time to get a lot of first-team reps. And that could be a help to them.
Well, this Pittsburgh team, at the beginning of the year, everybody said, well, will New England go undefeated? Well, that didn't happen. They lost their first game. But everybody said, well, who's the other team in the AFC that could dethrone them? And everybody, really looked at Pittsburgh, because when you look at the talent on this club, you wonder how they underperform at times, and they sometimes play down to their opponent, and they don't come to play. Now, the last couple of weeks, they have come to play. I mean, they have a running game. They got an offensive line. They've got wide receivers. They got a quarterback with 2 Super Bowl rings. Now, granted, Big Ben is, probably at the end of his career. He talked about retirement this past summer, and sometimes in the early part of this season, he looked like he already retired, even though he was out there in uniform. But the last couple games, he's playing a little bit more managed ball and using the running back. I mean, this is a very, very tough football team, this Pittsburgh Steelers team. The question about them, under Mike Tomlin, he has not always gotten this team up to play consistently. And that's the one thing about this club, that you just never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get with them. I know Detroit's going to come and play hard. Stafford is a highly paid guy. Offensive line problems throughout the league are really damaging. And you're seeing quarterbacks go down and get hurt and be out for the season right and left. And the reason for that is they're not being protected very well. And part of the protection is being able to run the ball, to slow up the pass rush, and having good blockers up front that can block for the quarterback and for the running game. That's not happening in the NFL these days. And that will change over time, because they're not going to be able to keep these guys on their feet. So it's a really interesting game, especially with Pittsburgh coming off those division games and coming on a favorite on the road on Sunday night. It's really going to come down to whether Tomlin brings them to play and whether the offensive line for the Lions can hold up and give Matt Stafford some time.
Let's get to the free play that I've got, and it's on another Sun Belt game. We gave one out yesterday, and I'm trying to get through, and let's see if we can get another Sun Belt winner. Arkansas State is at New Mexico State. Now, one thing to mention is that this game was a big, big line mover yesterday. A lot of sharp money showed on New Mexico State, and the line went down 3 points. This was Arkansas State -6. It's now New Mexico State -3. So, excuse me, New Mexico State, Arkansas State's still the favorite, but now only -3 against New Mexico State. I agree with the line move. This is a play for me. However, I would suggest that because the line value is gone, that the play, if anyone decides to tail it, probably plays less than you would normally play, because you're getting the worst of it on the number. But as far as the analysis of the game goes, this is a huge game for New Mexico State. This is a senior-laden team, and I think they're going to be completely geared up as this is the game on their schedule. A win, and the Aggies would be 4-4, and that would give them a very good chance of being bowl eligible. They have not been to a bowl since 1960. Unbelievable. 57 years.
Wow.
They have not been to a bowl game. And here's the thing. This might be their last chance to get to a bowl game for some time, because New Mexico State's basically being kicked out of the Sun Belt Conference. Sun Belt's trying to cut back on some of the travel, and New Mexico State and Idaho are the 2 remote locations for the rest of the country. You know, Arkansas State, for instance, is traveling about 1,100 miles here. So Idaho is moving to the FCS next year. New Mexico State is going to operate as an independent. It's going to be almost impossible for them to put together enough FCS level wins playing non-conference games every week to get to a bowl game. And it's not a good program anyway. So this is a really important game for this team. I think the defense is going to decide the game. Neither defense is real good. The Red Wolves have to capitalize on the likelihood that Tyler Rogers is a good quarterback, but he gets a little too much riverboat gambler at times. They've got to capitalize when he puts balls up for grabs. And New Mexico State has actually been pretty good against the pass by FBS standards, considering their Sun Belt team. They're not very good against the run. And that, you know, you would think Arkansas State will try and do that. Now, one thing about Arkansas State here is that they've got several decent running backs. Their best one is out for the game. He's not going to play. He didn't play last game either, and it didn't matter against Louisiana Lafayette. What I really think this boils down to is that Arkansas State doesn't defend the run at all. Over 200 yards a game, and unless they firm that up, they're going to have trouble with this active squad. Larry Rose III is a dynamic back. Jason Huntley has been a legit weapon, both catching and running the football. And I do think this is a game that the Aggies are pointing to. I would take the point, even though it's not, you know, you're certainly not getting the best of the number at this point, but I would take the Mexico State plus the 3 in the game, Jim.
Dave, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
No, that's excellent analysis of the football game, and I'm sure the fans appreciate all the hard work that went into you doing that. That was excellent. Good job.
Well, the harder work goes into the biggest plays, and those are the ones you put the most stock into. And those are the games you're going to find at JimFice.com right now. Again, I've got my early college game, which has been up all week. The Saturday trifecta's up. Got the marquee matchup, one of the big games on Saturday. I'll play tonight, one of the Friday night football games that I like. And my college game of the week is up right now, and those have been very solid performers, and I expect that this one will be as well. And Jim, again, several big selections for you this weekend, plus the baseball.
Absolutely. I got NBA. We can't forget about that. The NBA has been doing very well. My Major League Baseball on an 11-1 run, so there's a baseball game up there as well for tonight. So we got NBA, and we have baseball, and we have 10 college football games, and we're going to have probably at least a half a dozen sides and totals in the NFL. So it's a full card for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday at JimFeist.com for both Dave and myself. And we suggest you go there and check it out. Listen to the podcasts that we have up. Read the articles and the blogs. And check out the picks because we have been doing very well.
And that'll do it for this week's rundown of podcast. We don't do it on the weekends because, well, we're watching games just like you guys are, trying to digest as much info as we can. We'll come back and start it all over again on Monday. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Dave.